Howdy! Welcome to Aspire Mountain Academy. I'm Professor Curtis, your instructor for this course in Introductory Statistics. In less than 10 minutes, this video provides even more practice in using StatCrunch to conduct hypothesis testing on a population mean. Let's get started. Okay, for this particular problem, we're looking at the ages of race car drivers. So here we got a table with the age and years for 15 randomly selected race car drivers. Notice that we've got the same 5 standard questions that we've been asking when working problems with hypothesis testing. So we're going to use those again here in this instance. The claim that we're looking at with this problem is that the mean age of all race car drivers is greater than 30 years. I don't know. I would have guessed that, you'd want somebody younger being a race car driver, but, I don't know anything about stock car racing, so, maybe people who know about the sport, they would, they know that the ages of the race car drivers, you got to have a little maturity to get the experience that you need to actually get behind the wheel in the race. Yeah, I don't know. So, anywho, that's the claim that we're looking at here. So, let's get to it. We're going to answer these questions one at a time. Oh, and because we have the data, we have actual data, not just summary stats like we normally do. So here in this instance, we can actually select with data from our menu options in StatCrunch. What are our hypotheses? So what's the null and alternative hypotheses for this particular problem? Well, I'm going to leave that to you. So go ahead and figure that out. After you stop the video, then come back and start the video back up. We'll see how well you did. Okay, let's see how well you did with this. So, first we're going to think about the claim that's being made. Here the claim is that the mean age of all the race car drivers is greater than 30. So there's our claim value there, greater than 30. The null hypothesis, as always, is going to be statement of equality. So we're going to write that out like so. The alternative hypothesis, typically we can take at the claim if the claim has no semblance of equality to it. Here we don't see any semblance of equality with the claim, therefore we can adopt it as our alternative hypothesis. And that inequality sign there on our alternative hypothesis is like an arrow pointing to the right. That says we have a one-tailed test on the right side of our distribution. What is the test statistic? Well, that's a good question. I'm very hopeful that you can answer that question on your own after watching the previous mini lecture videos. Should be able to do this. So go ahead and stop the video, get into StatCrunch, load this up. This file should be there in our class group in StatCrunch for race car drivers. So go ahead and open that file and get your test statistic there out of StatCrunch, and then come back here to the video and we'll see how well you did. Okay, let's see how well you did here. So, first off, you're going to open the data file in StatCrunch. Then you're going to go to Stat, T-Stats, because you don't know what the population standard deviation is. One sample, because you've got just the one sample. With data, because you have actual data to use, not just summary stats. In the options window that comes up at the top, you're going to select the age column. That's where your data is at. And then down below, the radio button for hypothesis test, that's the default. You want to make sure those fields underneath it match what you have for your null and alternative hypotheses so that you get the right test statistic number out. And then you're going to go ahead and hit compute. And once you do, you get this lovely results window. And right here, second to last value in that table, as always, is our T-stat test statistic. If you get that right, then you're going to get the p-value right. It's right next door. So p-value here, 0.0453. Decide whether to reject the null hypothesis. So yes, go ahead, pause the video here, make your decision, and come back and we'll see if you chose wisely. Okay, let's see how you did. So, if we use the p-value to determine whether we're inside or outside the rejection region, here's our rejection region here. Our alpha level 1%, we've got 14 degrees of freedom because there's 15 race car drivers, so one less than the sample size. That's our degrees of freedom. We want greater than here for our inequality sign because it's a right-tailed test, so we want that area there on the right. And then go ahead and press compute. Now comes our critical value, 2.62. That's the boundary here of this critical region, the region of rejection. So we find our p-value by going back to our results window. The p-value there, last number there on the end. We compare that with the 1%, and we find that we are greater than alpha, therefore we're outside the region of rejection. We fail to reject the null hypothesis. Alternatively, we could use that test statistic 1.8 to get the same conclusion. So 1.8 is going to leave us right about here. You can see that's outside the region of rejection. Therefore, we would reach the same conclusion, fail to reject the null hypothesis. Notice in this particular instance that if we had chosen the more commonly used value for alpha of 5%, we would reach a very different conclusion. 0.0453 is less than 5%. So therefore we would be inside the region of rejection, and therefore we would reject the null hypothesis. So yes, it does matter what you choose for your alpha level. Here in this instance, we see that if you choose one value for alpha, you get one result. You choose another value, it comes out completely differently. Finally, what do you conclude from your hypothesis test? By now you should have that pattern down. So if you don't, well, this is another opportunity to practice. So go ahead, pause the video, come up with your conclusion, and then come back and we'll see if you concluded correctly. Okay, here we go. So what conclusion did you make? Well, first of all, did we reject the null hypothesis or fail to reject the null hypothesis? Well, you should recall that we failed to reject the null hypothesis with that 1% level for alpha. So therefore, we fail to reject the null hypothesis means that there's not sufficient evidence. We have a one-tailed test, it's a test on the right side of the distribution. So therefore, one-tailed means we're going to support the claim, and therefore the answer option that we want is answer option B. So there's not sufficient evidence because we rejected H0. They support the claim because it's a one-tailed test, and the rest of the statement is just restating the claim. And that brings us to the end of this mini lecture. I hope you found it helpful. You can find more mini lectures for this and other courses at AspireMountainAcademy.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.